Hey folks, hope you guys are having a good Saturday. I think it's Saturday. Pretty sure it is Saturday. Anyway, I hope you guys are having a good one. I'm trying a little bit different camera. I have it like in the middle of my monitor right now, which is a little bit different, a little interesting. Maybe a little too close. Then I can like lean back. But like I had it above my monitor, which was, you know, like, hello, I'm way down here. And, you know, I didn't think of the consequences of like upgrading my monitor setup and getting something that's like really gigantic. You know, something that's really big. And that's what I have. I have a big, giant 4K OLED as my computer monitor now, which is just great for all the creative stuff I do. Really good for actually working on documents, if you'd believe it. And that's because you can have a document be like, you know, really, you can see it really good. You can see a lot of words at once, which is really useful. Is the main thing I'll say. So hope you guys are having a good day. Newest book, Al Shafalda. Please grab that. I'm going to link it right now, just so people can grab it. So this is a fantasy book, but it's a little bit more than just your standard run-of-the-mill fantasy. It's a kind of a, let's call it a Shakespearean tragedy. So it is a 5-act tragedy, like what you would get with, you know, Shakespeare or any kind of classic 5-act structure that you'll see. But it deals with a lot of the themes that are present in my books, especially my fantasy books, which is like the nature of reality, the nature of what you make as a person, the nature of creativity, as well as mortality, life, and all of those sorts of things. So a lot of the lore of my universe is kind of bound up in these, what I call the Eternal Dream Legends series. That includes this, Crown of Sight, and kind of a sideways one called The Wasting Desert. Has a lot of lore that's packed into this versus my bigger, longer books like Water of Awakening or Needle Ash, which really are about telling like a more an adventure. They're really big adventures. I don't want to call them like epics because they take place over long distances, but not necessarily, you know, they're not like the Odyssey. They have an Odyssey plot structure, like this one has an Odyssey plot structure, but you know, it's not gigantic life or death, you know, end of the world kind of epic level. It's really an adventure about a person. So check those out. Oh yeah, I forgot to respond to you as MMR. I'm sorry. I've had a lot going on. I have another book coming out, so let me go ahead and link that one too. It's called Afterglow Generation Y. That comes out this week or next week, I think. So I'm getting all of the files prepped for that, and November 11th. So we did 1 month between each book, so it comes out on Friday, November 11th. So a book for October, Al Shafalda. There's some horror elements in this too, which made it a good October book. And then Afterglow, which comes out next week. So please check those out. You've probably already heard most of the content or seen most of the content for Afterglow, and that is because, well, I've released a lot of it already for free on the YouTube channel or on my blog at deviouspress.com. So you probably already know what's there, and if you liked them, these are most of the Gen Y stories that I've come out with. Things like Middlebury, you know, Old Thing, New Thing. What was another one? Jimmy Turns 35. There's a couple of new ones that you haven't read that will be in the book as well. I'll probably eventually do those as audiobook content, either for just free for the channel, or if I set up a membership or something for the channel, I'll have those going on the channel as well. So you can check those out. People have been asking for those in, you know, a complete book. So that's really what the goal is here. It's a snowy week up in Montana. Well, we had an unexpected little, not unexpected, but we had a slight heat wave. It got back up into the 80s this week, and we had a big storm last night, which is how it is on the Gulf Coast. We have big storms frequently. You know, we get 100 inches of rain every year. Sometimes a lot more. You know, during, was it Hurricane Harvey? There was like 4 feet of rain in like a week. 48 inches of rain, like in a couple of days. But I have it on good authority. My house is never flooded. You know, everything else is flooded, but our houses are up on hills right here. So we're like, yeah, flood didn't get to us. But anyway, so I hope you're comfortable up in Montana. My friend, who I've had on the channel a couple of times, Jesse White, he's up in British Columbia, and up there it is already snowing. It's very snowy already. It's just kind of different. That's not true. I've only once lived somewhere where it snowed a lot, and that was when I was really young. So my usual experience for winter is it gets just a little bit clammy and foggy in Central California. Of course, in California, we had lots of snow. It was just up in the mountains, which were like an hour to the east. All right, so we're gonna play some games today. Check out those books. I don't know if there's anything like that needs to be talked about a lot before we begin. I saw that Funko Pop was like losing a lot of money, which I don't want anybody to like not have their business or something like that. But Funko Pops are something that I have a particular dislike for. I wrote a little story, and I'll just link it. It's in the new book. It's in the Afterglow book. It's called Mad Uncle Marty. Basically, what happens to all of this plastic junk when we get old, you know? So what happens to the consumer when he gets really old? Who takes care of him? Does his family take care of him? What if he didn't have kids? Does the niece and nephews of his brother who had kids, they have to deal with him, even though like they don't want to deal with him? You know, it's something that most people who are like, I live a child-free lifestyle, don't think about. It's like, what are you going to do when you're old? And I've heard a lot of them say, well, I'll just kill myself. I'm like, wow, that's dark. That's a rather dark ending to your life, to embrace like spending your money on toys for yourself in your 30s. But, and it's not to like judge anyone who doesn't get married. Marriage is not in the cards for everyone. But there's a reckoning that comes when we get older, and you have to think about the relationships you build up in your life and who's going to care for you and who's going to give a crap about you when maybe you get dementia or you have a heart attack or something, and you aren't, your health lasts until a certain point, then you get old and your health starts to fail and it becomes much more difficult to operate in the world. So who's gonna care for you at that? Elon did buy Twitter. So the Funko Pop craze. Let me explain collecting. So I might cut this into a video. I always do like one of these little rants on the live stream. So I might cut this one cut it into a video. Collecting is quite possibly a mental disorder. In fact, there's collecting disorders, but most people, there's a range of disorder when it comes to collecting. Are you collecting things because you like the individual things? It may not really be a collection at that point. Or are you collecting things so that you have the collection? The latter category, this is most people I've known who collect things like toys, is they have a collection because they're trying to have all of them. It's the Pokemon thing. Like, you got to catch them all. Do you have all of the toys in this series from this year? So I've known, like Star Wars toys collectors, and they have all the toys from this series from this year, and then they try to get all the toys, basically. So when you're collecting, are you buying that Qui-Gon Jinn toy because you really like Qui-Gon Jinn? Maybe you hate Qui-Gon Jinn. You hate the character and you don't care anything about it. But you buy the toy to keep it in the box, to maybe put it on the shelf to display. There's something I think a little bit broken with that, right? Now, I have lots of things. I've got a whole bookshelf full of crap behind me, right? In fact, the whole top shelf, not the whole top shelf, but most of the top shelf are just books that I wrote. Not not books I've collected. But if you collect a book, if I have a collection of books, it's because I want to read the books. And I don't usually buy books I'm not interested in reading just so that I can have them. Rather, I buy books to have them and to read them. I buy them because I want to read them or because they offer me some kind of good reading experience. Maybe an illustrated edition or something like that. You know what I mean? So most of the things I buy or the things that I have collected have a specific use. You have guns. I have a large amount of guns, right? But in fact, if you're from the FBI, I have no guns. I've never owned a gun. But guns are a tool. They have a purpose, right? You shoot them and then they will do something. So having a variety of guns for a variety of uses is part of having guns. Now, if you're like, I'm going to collect every single Winchester from the 19th century and you never shoot them, you just put them on display, that's like a collection. And that's fine if that's what you're into, you know, if you're into collecting those or you're into collecting Funko Pops. But there's a point at which the collecting really crosses a line and becomes like disorder. And that's where you're no longer collecting the thing for the thing. You're really collecting it because you have to have all of them. You have to have the entire collection. And if you don't have the entire collection, you're going to feel incomplete. You have a compulsion to collect all of the things and buy all of the things and have all of the things rather than to have something which you really like. Like I have a lot of guitars, right? All of the guitars are different. I don't collect Mosrite guitars or something. Or I don't collect, Dan Electro guitars. I don't collect Fender guitars. There are people who collect Fender guitars. In other words, they're trying to get all the different variations of Fender guitars or maybe all the different variations of Stratocaster that exist or Telecaster or whatever they decide to collect. The thing about that is, as a musician, can I possibly use all those variants? Do I possibly care about all those variants? And the answer is no. I've had a variety of different Telecasters, and I've kind of just ended up with one that I have kept around, right? The neck is too big on this one. Oh, I like this 52. Yeah, I don't like the neck on it. Oh, I like the Broadcaster. I don't like the neck on it. I'm not going to play it, So I'm not going to play a guitar that's not set up the way that I want to play it, which means I should get rid of it. So I have a lot of guitars, but they're all different, and they all serve a different purpose, and they all do different things. I only have... It's not true. I actually have two Strats. One is a weird one. It's the Hello Kitty guitar, but it's very different from my regular Strat, which is not even set up like a normal Strat. You can have 3 or 4 different variations of a Strat and have really different guitars. But after that, like you're really, you're just collecting the guitars to have them at that point. So I try to make sure that I'm not falling over into that edge of like, I want to have it to have it. It's like, I want to have it because I want to use it because it's cool. There's always more guns to buy. But if I'm going to buy another gun, then I really think, okay, what don't I have and why do I want to get another gun and what use am I going to put it to? I tend to have a lot of purpose-built guns. A gun that's set up for killing hogs. A gun that's just for plinking, Guns that are for defense or something, I was thinking about I always wanted a Taurus Judge and I could never get one in California. So I might get one in Texas because I just think it's cool to shoot shotgun shells. I might want to kill some snakes with it, We got a lot of snakes around here. So, anyway. Funko Pops are something I really hate. And I hate them because unlike the Star Wars toys, which you could theoretically take out of the box and play with. And I have that in the Magical Marty story, which did I link it in chat? I did link it in chat. Go ahead and read that. That's in the new book, Afterglow, Generation Y, which comes out on November 11th, so you can pre-order that. He collects Funko Pops, but he also collects toys. And so what's their thought about doing the toys? The toys in 2070 are worthless because there's millions of them. It's take them out of the box and give them to the kids in the family, and then they can play with the toys and enjoy them. That is really the thing about collecting toys, is you could play with them. You could take the Barbie out of the box and play with the Barbie, if you collect Barbies, right? If you collect guns, you could take them off the wall and go shoot them. If you collect guitars, you can play music with the guitars. If you collect Funko Pops, there's nothing you can do with them. You can't play with a Funko Pop. It's not a playable toy. It's a thing that it's a bauble. It's a tchotchke. You put it on your shelf and look at it sometimes. And once you have a collection of Funko Pops, like if you have one Funko Pop, like I want to have one and just like put it on my shelf. Like I have some skulls, like I have a boar skull back there. I'm going to put a Funko Pop on my shelf. Okay. Maybe it's like Gene Simmons or something that's really cool that you like. Once you have a whole room full of Funko Pops on a bunch of shelves, the individual liking disappears and it becomes entirely about what am I adding into my collection? What am I getting that's rare? And a lot of people justify it, and this is in the story, they justify it by thinking about value of it. My collection is valuable, and I can resell these on eBay for a certain amount of money. Well, I like to see the bottom drop out of the Funko Pop market because it really exposes the fact that these are not useful objects. These are objects that are not durable goods. They're not tools. They're not anything that you're going to get your money out of later. They are worthless. They're pieces of vinyl. They're pieces of vinyl that you look at. That's their entire purpose. So at a certain point, if you're not buying them because you like this individual object, you know, there's people who like buy the little, I don't know, anime girl statues. I don't understand that, but there's people who do it. They like the character that they buy the little statue of, and they put it on their desk and they look at it, and they put it on their shelf and they look at it, and they have a couple of them. At a certain point, if you have like 100 of them, you don't care about any of the individual ones. You just care about the collection. So Funko Pops are just completely useless. They don't have any alternative utility at all. A child can't really play with them. You can't use them as a tool. You can't do anything with them. So if the bottom of the market drops out of them and it's like, oh no, I lost $3,000 worth of value on my Funko Pop collection. It's like, they were always worthless to begin with. And by the time we get to 2070, 2060, are these things going to be worth anything? No, there's millions of them. What's going to happen is we're going to break up the house of the old millennials who have to go to the nursing home, and there's going to be rooms full of junk that they've collected over the years. Everybody does this. It's not just the millennials, but the millennial junk is going to be like, why did they buy all these weird little toys? What are these weird little toys about? I don't understand. What do we do with them? You have to recycle them. You have to go recycle them or something. That's what you're going to end up having to do with the Funko Pops. Now, I say this like, you know, when my grandparents had to go into a retirement home, my grandpa, of course, grew up in the Great Depression, so he held on to everything. He held on to literal garbage for 50 years because he thought he might have a use for it at some point. He had stacks and stacks and stacks of tins. Like, you know, you get the tins of the shortbread cookies. He'd keep the tins. So he had like all the tins just all over the place in his... he had a whole... I think he had a shipping container dropped in his backyard to like store all his extra crap. You know, and I remember when I would visit as a kid, he would give me like toys that he just found and held onto. And he'd be like, here, you can play with this toy. Here's a barrel of monkeys that I got somewhere. I'm like, okay, I'm going to play with them. You know, I remember playing with a barrel of monkeys from like the 1940s or something that he had held onto for 50 years. I don't know why, but he did. He'd hold on to nuts and bolts. He'd have just like jars full of nuts and bolts. But that's a slightly different mentality. He wasn't collecting it to have it. He was just like, maybe it'll be useful. But we still had to really, you know, get rid of a lot of junk. We had to go like, okay, what is this actually worth? And it turns out these things that you hold on to really aren't worth much, if any, money. The difference is that he really didn't spend any money on the tins. He didn't spend any money on the nuts and bolts. He collected things that were junk already. Whereas the millennial will spend thousands of dollars on a video game collection and not play it. You know, we're at the point now where like you can people will collect a physical video game and never open it and just play the digital version for some reason. Or you can get video games for like the PS3 or the Xbox 360 that are unplayable. You can have the disc, but because it's an online only game or the servers are gone, you can't even play the game. It's an unplayable game. There's a bunch of these now. So you can have the disc for an unplayable game. What do you do with it? Well, I put it on my shelf and I remember that this game existed, I guess. So anyway, yeah, it's going to be interesting when millennials get older and you have to deal with like collecting an entire generation of people with collecting disorder. And what do you do with all their old junk that has no value in 2060? I mean, is physical software going to have a value in 2060? It might, because it might be difficult to get that version of software. You know, a physical cartridge for a game might still be worthwhile because of whatever. But the truth is that we have ROMs for all of these. And the physical value of the cartridge as a thing which you use is less than the value of the cartridge as a thing that you collect, when you can get ROMs for free, when you can download everything onto a hard drive and keep it for years at a time if you want. So anyway, read that story, Mad Uncle Marty. What are we gonna do when all these Gen Y nostalgia freaks get old and we have to sell their toy collections, which they never played with? Isn't that a little sad that you didn't play with the toys? That's the child's perspective in the story. Why didn't Uncle Marty play with the toys? I don't understand why he didn't play with them. I saved all of my toys from when I was a kid. This is a weird one, right? Because they were really cool, and I just wanted to give them to my children when I had them. And I literally did that. My son has all my old Legos, and he plays with them, and he builds with them, and it's great. So I'm glad I held on to them, not to have them, not to be like, oh, here's my Lego castle I built when I was 8. No, but like, here, my Lego castle when I built when I was 8 is now the Castle of Darkness, and my son has rebuilt it into an evil fortress for a bad guy Lego that he made up, right? Or he plays with the Ninja Turtles because they're cool toys. I don't care about I don't have them in a box to look at. Oh, I've collected these Ninja Turtles. It's like, these are the toys I played with, and they're still good because they were great toys back in the 80s, and now they're really great toys now too. So anyway, there's that. Let's jump into maybe playing the game. Let's check out the chat after that rant, and then we'll play the game. The longer you live, the longer you want to live. The idea that they can just end it in a moment is stupid. Yeah, when they're like, I'll just commit suicide. I've also known guys who are like, they take up smoking. They're like, why are you taking up? I've known several people that took up smoking at like age 30. Why are you doing that? I don't care if I die when I'm 80. I don't want to live to be 90. I'm like, well, that's an attitude. You know, I hope that I have a lot of cool things to see when I'm 90. I hope my 95-year-old grandma has a lot of things she cares about, continuing to see the next day. I want to be Christopher Lee. I want to be the guy who's still working and doing exciting, fun things that you're interested in into your 90s. Why not? Why wouldn't we want to be that person? I'd rather be Christopher Lee than somebody who like sits and watches TV until my body collapses when I retire. I enjoyed comic books and read them in copy paper and drew over some of the best frames. It was an event. Yeah, I used to draw in comics. It was a disposable thing is what comic books were. Now, collectors don't even read them. They like put them in the little, the little plastic envelope and put it in the long box, and that's part of their comic collection. I'm going to sell it on eBay one day. It's like, you're not going to sell it. You're attached to the collection. These collectors never sell their collections unless they're completely desperate, or they have a real change of heart where they realize that like collecting things is bad. Like, I still have a bunch of Magic the Gathering cards, but they're not even worth enough for me to bother going through. So I just have them. I remember my roommate had a lot of valuable Magic cards, and he sold all of them at one point because it's like, dude, this is a stupid thing to collect. And I don't have time to play this game. I don't have time to play it at the level that I don't even want to play it at. So, he got a lot of money for like his dual color lands and stuff. I really wanted to sell my collection. I'm like, yeah, I have my decks around. I bought that. I did a video on this. I bought a box. It's called I don't remember what it's called, like Friday Night Game Box that Wizards put out that has 5 low power decks. I'm like, perfect. Put that on the shelf. If someone wants to play Magic, we get those out, and we've done it a couple times with friends. Oh yeah, here, we'll get a deck out, look through the cards, play a game of Magic. That was fun. Put it back on the shelf, right? I'm not interested in giving Wizards of the Coast $1,000 a year to try to sift through cards and try maybe sell them. I'm just not into that. But Magic cards, you could at least play a game with them, right? I've never purchased a book just to own it. I've read every book I've purchased except for the last one I bought, since I haven't had time to read it yet. But I won't buy more until I finish it. I buy books that I haven't read yet, but I intend to read them. There's lots of books I own that I haven't read, but they're like on the list to read at some point. I don't buy a book to own it. I buy a book to read it. But I do buy good books, right? Like I have hardback books. I have those because they're high quality books and they will last. You can put them on the shelf and you can carry them around and you can read them, and this book will last a very long time. And I have good illustrated editions of some of my favorite books, like by Tolkien, and that is something that is meant to last. Like my kids can read that book too, or if they choose to sell it when I die, then the next person can enjoy it and it'll be durable for them. The funniest collection addiction is when people buy video games and they don't open it. Yes, my friend does that. He has games from PS2 and PS3 eras that are sitting there collecting dust. Yeah, it's new in box, and they pretend like you're gonna sell it at some point for a profit, but you never do, you know, because that would mean that you're disassembling your collection, and you like to have the collection, and you like the feeling of status that exists from having a collection. And you like to just have the collection, so you don't end up getting rid of it, even if you don't play the games. I have a friend who has a large amount of Funko Pop dolls at his house. I hate them that I have to manage how I talk about them because I loathe them as well. They seemingly serve no purpose but decoration. It's not just that they're decoration. Like if it was decoration, you might buy one or two. Like, oh, here's my Cloud Strife Funko Pop because I'm really into Final Fantasy, and then just put it on the shelf. Here's my Cloud Strife statue. I'll just put it on the shelf. But once you have like 100 of them, 200 of them, it's no longer about the individual piece at all. It's about having a collection, and that's the problem. At least Nintendos have some soul to them. Yeah. On the note of utility, I have tens of thousands in Magic cards and used to play competitively, but haven't since 2020. The utility of my collection has decreased drastically since. This is the other thing about Magic cards, right? Oh, you know, I played competitively during like Time Spiral or something, or like Kamigawa 20 years ago. Are any of those cards worth anything today? I'd have to do a lot of serious research to see if they were worth anything. You know, they're probably worth nothing. And so that's why I don't even bother to go through them, right? It's like I have some cool decks that I've assembled over the years that are, you know, we used to call it 1.5, Legacy, whatever, and a Type 1 deck. But like, you know, what are you going to do? You can't sell them because the competitive players don't need or want those cards now. So, and that's kind of by design. Wizards wants to sell you new cards. They don't want to sell you old cards unless they can reprint them and get you to buy them new. It's like, oh, we're going to put this banned card back in the main set and everybody's going to buy it. Oh, I'm going to buy it to get the clones. We got to get the clones and we got to get the ancient magic or whatever. You know, yeah, so the value of what you put into it decreases, and that's the whole point. Zimamaro, I have an anime figure collection. Some I got because they're aesthetically pleasing and great designs, but most I get because they're from the series I enjoy growing up, like Dragon Ball Z. Yeah, you got to kind of think, like, do you enjoy that individual thing? Do you look at it and enjoy looking at it? If the answer is no, then you should probably jettison it from the collection. Funko Pops are dollar store Nindroids. Yeah, Nindroids are the little cute little chibi ones, I think. I don't have those either. We'll spend thousands on a video game collection and not play it. I feel called out. I have spent $500 on PS4 or 5 games over the past year, but played little. Yeah, I try not to do it. I actually had, so check this out. I actually had, and I don't stick to this, but I should. I only buy full price games. That was my philosophy for, I don't know, a couple years in the PS4 era. It was like, I only buy $60 games. That's stupid. Why not buy games on sale? The answer is I'm only going to buy a game if I really want to play it right now. And I will pay whatever price it is to play it right now. Very rarely will I buy a game on sale and be like, I'll play that later. Because I found out I was buying games for $10, $15 and never playing them. That's $15 wasted if I never play the game, right? I've just flushed the money down the toilet. I have a large collection of Wii U games. There's like one in the collection I've never played, right? That I bought to play in the future, one or two. The rest of them end up being played a lot because there's a lot of kid-friendly games and my kids really like them, so they play them. You know, that's it, right? So I try to just buy the games. I'm excited to play this game now. I'm going to buy it and I'm going to pay $60 for it, and that's what I'm going to do. But there's always, I always like undercut myself. I bought Cyberpunk because it was on sale. It was a fun game. When you buy a game on sale, you definitely feel like it's easier to get your money out of it. When I paid $60 for Cyberpunk, I think it's probably worth $60. There was another $60 game I wanted to buy at the time that had kind of mixed reviews, but it had really fun gameplay. I really just wanted to buy that. I probably should have just bought the game I wanted to play. But Cyberpunk has been fun, and I'll do a review on that. I'm going to have to disagree with the not durable goods angle. I've seen them being used to support shelving at comic book stores. That's good. Maybe people missed out on a real childhood and gave up. Yeah, that's the thing. Is this is a Gen Y thing? What was the Gen Y childhood? The Gen Y childhood was a materially rich but spiritually empty childhood. So what that means is your parents bought you really good toys, you had a TV and cable, you had lots of entertainment, but what you didn't have was the full experience of like being with your parents. You were in daycare, you know. Most of us were in daycare every single day for our entire lives until we were like in high school maybe, and then the parents just were not going to put you in daycare anymore. In which case, like me, you could have been in sports or band every single day after school until 5, 6, 7, sometimes 9 o'clock at night. You know, there were days where I would spend 13, 14 hours a day at the public high school because I had so many activities I was doing, you know. Kind of ridiculous when you think about it. But yeah, what did I miss out on childhood? Well, I was not spending a lot of time playing with the toys I bought. I was spending a lot of time doing things like soccer, doing homework, being at daycare. When you spend 9 hours, 10 hours a day away from home, even the expensive toys you have don't get a lot of playtime, unfortunately. You know. What's up, John? Hope you're having a good one. Keep writing the books. I actually need to cut down on I have a lot of extra tools. I have too many tools, so I'm going to get rid of some tools, maybe donate them to charity so that someone else can have cheap tools that needs them. I have a lot of extra guns, unless you're from the FBI, in which case I've never owned a gun or even touched one. You know, so if you're watching this from the government, I don't own guns. But, you know, if I were hypothetically to have an excess of guns, I'd really have to decide to cut down on the ones that I'm not going to plan on using. People who sell out of Magic often regret selling out a few years later. I'm currently planning on selling out. You know, that moment of regret, where like, man, I wish I hadn't sold my Magic cards. It's like that moment of regret, you should stop and go, is this going to stop me from playing Magic again? And if the answer is yes, maybe it was a good idea, because it's going to be a big money pit. You know it is. They designed it to be a money pit. It's the same thing with Dungeons and Dragons editions. Here's D&D 3, D&D 5. No one plays D&D 4, but I kind of liked it. It was like a tactics game. They have to come out with new editions of D&D to keep people buying them. Now Wizards of the Coast has this thing called D&D 1, which is basically a live service D&D concept. So that the game and the rules are always being updated, like digitally. So you never have to buy another edition of D&D. It's like you're always going to be paying for Dungeons and Dragons forever. What we should do is just buy the original Gary Gygax stuff and just play that, or whatever edition you like. Buy all the 3.5. I actually am fond of 3.5. So buy all the 3.5 stuff and just play that, and just don't worry about buying new stuff. You're very unlikely to run out of things to do playing original D&D or edition 3.5 or something, right? You really are going to have a hard time. I move a lot, and I hated moving everything. My whole retro gaming collection got sold for quite a bit. Selling my modded Wii U with external drive if anyone's interested. I have my Wii U's modded with like, all my emulators and stuff are on it. It's a great system. I wouldn't sell mine because it gets played very often still. It's still probably the most played console. It might be the most played console I've ever had, because my kids love it, and it has that big controller. It's great for little hands. That big controller, you can just put it in your lap, and it's great. Kids love it. My daughter plays it, and then as my son gets older and he's more interested in like more advanced games, my daughter is more interested in the Wii U, and she wants to play the Yoshi games and stuff. She really enjoys that. It's very accessible. It has a lot of accessible titles on it. So I'm not going to sell the Wii U anytime. I'm not going to sell my PS3 because it plays all my old games that I like. And I do play those sometimes. And my son likes them too. My son likes to pop in PS2 and PS3 games and play them. So I'm probably not going to sell those, but like I'm kind of at a loss as what to do with, say, my Super Nintendo, because I really just use emulators for everything now. It's way more convenient than like hooking up my Super Nintendo. But there is something special about playing around or on original hardware. So that's the other thing. Like playing it on original hardware, it's just different, especially with the Super Nintendo or Nintendo and Genesis, Nintendo 64. I still have all those. And they get used, like they get played. The games are best on the original hardware, in my opinion. But I still mostly do emulators for things. I did emulators for playthroughs on this channel, either on the computer or on the Vita. In fact, Final Fantasy VII, technically, I'm doing an emulation of it on the Vita. It's just a really very faithful emulation of the game. Might open it up here so we can get playing. Fortunately, my family doesn't do the whole slowly deteriorate for a decade thing. We just drop dead one day. Knowing that, I'll be trying to live as long as possible because I know I'll just drop. I mean, there's a mercy in that, right? Because it's difficult to live for a long time with illness, to suffer like with cancer or something like that before you die. It really sucks. And actually, I'm just remembering something. And so I'm going to, I don't know if you guys follow me on Twitter or know what's up on Twitter, but, a mutual that I'm very fond of, Daddy Warpig, who does Geek Gab and actually wrote the intro to the Corona-chan anthology. He has pancreatic cancer. And so I would appreciate anybody that is willing to pray for his health and pray for his well-being and his endurance during this time, because pancreatic cancer is very serious. Very serious. It's what killed my grandfather. Steve Jobs died of pancreatic cancer. It's a big deal. So I would appreciate any prayers you're willing to give him, of course. So I'm going to link his profile, and you can say a prayer if you are willing. On playing Legacy Magic, they started ruining the format by printing overpowered stuff that skipped standard in 2019, then printing the most broken standard set ever, then making new mechanic they had to nerf. While the set, it was in intro, it was still in print. Legacy's freaking ruined from what it was before 2019. So we used to call it Type 1. It was just like everything allowed, which was pretty cool. Like I used to use Black Lotus and that kind of stuff. Black Lotuses are still expensive, I think. A lot of the value of Magic cards, the reason they didn't mess with it too much was just the fact that... Hold on. Let me set this up. It created the illusion of value for so much of the Magic market. They didn't want to just get rid of that. They didn't want to reprint the powerful cards, because then what are you doing? You're cutting the value out of your current cards, because people will buy those cards thinking that they're going to eventually be they're eventually going to be valuable, when they're really just never going to be valuable at all. So that's the truth about Magic. It's a big scam, but it's a fun game to play. That's why I got that Magic Night game box. It's just, you take your decks, and I have 5 or 6 decks that I built over the years, which are kind of Type 1 decks, maybe Legacy decks you call them now, and they can just sit in a bag, and I could pull them out when we want. I have my Samurai deck and my Dragon deck and my, what other decks do I have? I have my Blue deck, my Epic Infinite Hand Size deck, my my Blue-White Super Angels deck, which has a bunch of blue and white flying vigilance creatures. It's like a good creature deck. Plus with like good creature destroy that white has, like Swords to Plowshares, that kind of stuff. I don't understand people have a backlog of games. I buy games and play them. Yeah, that's the attitude I want to have. No guns here. We don't need guns. Why would we need guns? We have police. We have the FBI watching over us. We don't need guns. I don't have guns. You guys don't have guns. None of us have guns. We've never seen a gun. Guns are scary. Who wants scary guns? I mean, I don't want scary guns. These guns are scary, guys. We should avoid all guns. Let's see here. Probably this one. I haven't played since last week. I think a lot of the dudes who say they don't want to live to 80 probably watched loved ones slowly fade from debilitating illness. Oh yes, we're right here. We've got to explore around. I think there's like a good materia somewhere in here. Look up a guide. Oh, here it is. Death Blow. Yeah, that one I think is pretty sweet. We'll try it out. What do I have here? Seal. Death Blow. I do like the music in this part too. Oops, I walked out. I wasn't sure if I wanted to use a tent. Do I want to use a tent? Let's go this way. Wait, is this a door? No. Do you, speaking of guns, we don't have, I didn't buy a lot of ammo recently. Do you have a suggestion for an ammo storage not to get? So, the ammo storage that my dad didn't have, which didn't work for him because he didn't have it, was a rolling cabinet just from like Home Depot that locks, because you don't need a ton of security on the ammo that you don't have. So you can lock it if you need to, and then you just put a bunch of shelves and you can put ammo boxes in it. And that works really good. It's secure for your ammo. It's secure enough. Most people are not going to bother, you know, as far as security goes, you know, security. It's a matter of time how long it takes for security to be defeated for the ammo that you don't have. The other thing is keeping the ammo dry depending on your climate that you're in. So we're in a humid climate here. If you have an enclosed box, then you can run a dehumidifier in there. They have these like plug-in dehumidifiers. Those tend to work pretty good. So you can run a dehumidifier in your... Oh man, that's bad. You can run a dehumidifier in the cabinet. So that really can help to keep your ammo that you don't have dry. See what Deathblade does. I don't even remember what it does. I haven't played Kingdom Come Deliverance, but I think I have it. I think it's one of those ones I bought on a sale and I'm like, I'll play it later. I should just like play it when I feel like I really want to play it, you know? What does Deathblade do? I wasn't paying attention. It hits for a lot. So that's cool. There we go. Pick it up. I just like this. I kind of like post this like mini music here. I have a lot of nostalgia just for that. Oh, dig it. Kind of like the way the drums kind of turn the beat around here. Speaking of things I have but haven't experienced, the new book came in and is indeed purple. Yes. Thank you for buying it. I really appreciate that. Where'd I put it? Oh, it's underneath Water of Awakening. Yeah, it's pretty purple. There's the very purple. It's good though. I really enjoyed. I wrote this actually in 2020, and I didn't release it because the election happened. I realized like I have a watermark over my face here. I need to let's move this. Nope. Stop that. There we go. Let's move me over here so the watermark is not on my face live. That's a little bit bad, right? I have the DVS press over my face. Was this the first one to deviate from the standard post-victory fanfare? I did not know that. I actually didn't know that. So there's something over here. Music in this one was good. I think Final Fantasy IV has the best soundtrack. And I think number 2 is actually Final Fantasy XIII. Even though Nobuo Uematsu didn't do that one. Final Fantasy XIII's... it's Scarlet, head of the Shinra weapon development. Even though Final Fantasy XIII, I don't know, is a controversial quality game, Nobuo Uematsu didn't do the soundtrack. Final Fantasy XIII soundtrack is banging. It is really good. This isn't any good either. You only get junky materia from junky reactors. I think the remake for Final Fantasy IV's opening is pretty god tier. Yeah, the opening cinematic remake is really good. And every character's a 10, they look so good. I love this game when it came out too. It's not my favorite Final Fantasy game, but it's good. This reactor's a failure. What I'm looking for is a big, large, huge materia. Do you see any? She wants something big, large, and huge, guys. No, I haven't seen it. I'll get on it right away. Please, we could make the ultimate weapon if only we had some. I just can't wait. With Hojo gone, the weapon development's been getting a bigger budget. I envy them. But even if we make the perfect weapon, could that stupid Heidegger even use it? Oh, sorry, I forgot Heidegger was your boss. Let's go. Big, large, huge materia. Print screen. An ultimate weapon, the perfect weapon. Just what are the Shinra up to? Can I go inside the reactor? There's something shiny back there. Reach for it. Sorry. Receive Titan materia. I think that's a summon. Yes. I need to be using these more to like level them up. I always forget to use them. To go from here. Oh, it uses 34. Let's do Death Blow. Gotta save my mana here. The girls are out of mana. I don't remember what Climb Hazard does. Let's try it out. Well, it hit pretty hard, so that's cool. Death Blow! I haven't tried manipulating that guy. What's up, Briggs? Hope you have a good day. You know, I also like the Final Fantasy VII Remake quite a bit as well. And that's mostly just because I thought it was a really good game. was trying to find the, where is it? That's not it. I had a little walkthrough that had some stuff on it. I can't really find it. Probably not important. I think we just walk out of here, so I'm sure it's fine. Manipulate does not work on this creature. I have some good enemy skills here. There we go. That blows pretty good. It's like attack, but better. Can I use a tent? Nope, I gotta be on the world map for that. I'm not sure where I go after this. If I just go back. Weird little thing here. Oh, it keeps getting bigger. Pollen. Oh, look at that scary mouth. Ooh, that hurt. Here we go. People at the graveyard. 3 years ago when the reactor exploded, my husband. Do people really need reactors to live? Aren't there more important things in life? No matter how much I pray, it won't bring our grandson back. A ruined reactor. You here to shop? Hear a story? It's been a while since the explosion, but you can still find pieces of it left all over town. What do we got here? Buy one. Maiden's Kiss. We need a few of those. Alright. Well, you don't really need to sell a lot of items in this game. You had a great moment in the game. I recommend dumping all your resources and making Aerith as good as possible and leveling her as much as possible. It should be great in the end game then. You a traveler? Hey, wait. That glare in your eye. You in soldier? Oh, you're right. Don't you know anything about our son? His name is Zack. It's been close to 10 years since he left for the city, saying that he didn't want to live in the country. He left saying he's going to join Soldier. You ever hear of a Zack and Soldier? I don't know. Zack. Young lady, you know him? I remember he wrote us 6 or 7 years ago, saying that he had a girlfriend. Could that have been you? That can't. Zack. What happened to you two? Can't believe he hasn't contacted us in 10 years. After all, we're his parents. I don't remember if I need to make a save state here or not. Eris. Do you get her? Does her gear disappear when she dies? I don't remember. I'm gonna Google it. The weapon and armor Eris had equipped when she left the party are lost, as it is not possible for a player character to not have something in these slots. Her materia and accessory return to the player's inventory. She leaves. Okay. What a shock. I didn't know Zack was from this town. You know him? Didn't I tell you he was my first love? Zack, soldier first class. Same as Cloud. Strange, there aren't that many who make first class, but I've never heard of him. That's alright. It's all in the past now. I was just worried because I heard he's been missing. Missing? I think it was 5 years ago he went out on a job and never came back. He loved women, a real ladies' man. He probably found someone else. Hey, what's wrong? Are you jealous? Are you, Cloud? I'm kidding, I'm sorry. Let's go, Cloud. Huh? Did you want something? Buy accessories. Let's see here. Protects against darkness. Automatically puts you in Berserk. Mystify. Time magic. Heal, transform. Probably want... I don't know, I don't have these yet, so I should probably buy them. So I have them. Even though it like completely drains my money. Alright. Yeah, you get to keep her materia though. So like I don't really care about her equipment. But yeah, you can't take out her her armor. I think, is this where she dies? Here, I'm gonna do this. Talk to Tifa real quick. Zach, did you know him? No, I don't know him. Your face tells me differently. I told you I don't. All right. That sounds just like you, leaving town and saying, I'm joining Soldier. There were a lot of guys like that back then. It must be really something to make it in Soldier out of a group like that. I really respect you. Don't be so humble. Cloud, thanks for caring. Yeah, I could make a little save state here. This is Gongaga Village. Many people died here in a Mako reactor explosion. White info. Alright, let's go in here. Need something? Here you go. Pay up. Received X potion. Here's a story. Shinra built the reactor without even thinking about the town's safety, and this is the result. Alright. I think there's nothing else in this town to look at. See if there's anything else to buy here. I don't know if there is. I think there was. Yes, there it is. The pole. Yes, this guy sells weapons. Hard edge. I don't have this. Why that? I really hate the melee weapons for Barrett. I think those are kind of dumb. Put the mithril claw, the grand glove on, and then we could add something else in here like time. Time. Oh, thank you for the super chat, Sound Engraver. Be playing Final Fantasy VII soon. Trying out Secret of Mana for now. Secret of Mana is great. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed playing it with my son, actually. It was cool. It was a cool game to play with the kid. One shot him. I don't think I have frog. There we go. He's a frog! Look at the happy frog! Love the fighting style for Secret of Mana. Menu items are so intuitive. Yeah, I like the. There's a couple good ARPGs. They finally released an English version of the sequel to that. You can get it in the collection of Mana, I think. It's pretty good. I think there's a 3D remake of it. I don't recommend that. I like the original Super Nintendo version. Stone stair, oh no! There we go. There we go. Gotta go up here. More monsters. Look at this guy. I think we go up in the mountains here. Could be wrong. Could be wrong. Check. Ooh, these sand people. Sand guns. Have 1 damage. He has a shield up or something. Try some magic. Whoop. I'm interested in seeing how the remake handles the open world section post Guard. Yeah, that's a good question. But I mean, you're really traveling around like a representative little mini map. I don't remember what this town is. You know, so I don't know what we're gonna get. What is this? Looks cool though. I don't remember this. I am home. It is I, Naniki. Hey, Naniki, you're safe. Come on and say hello to Bugenhagen. Naniki. Welcome to Cosmo Canyon. Are you familiar with this land? No. Let me explain. People from all over the world gather here to seek the study of planet life. God, it's full capacity at present, so I'm afraid I can't let you enter. They helped me some when I was on the road. Please let them in. Oh, is that so? You helped Naniki? Please come in. Naniki. Who is Naniki? Naniki's Naniki, that's his name. So this is Cosmo Canyon. Quite a mysterious place. What's up, Jared? That's it. I heard there's an awesome observatory here. Ah. Shows the doors here. What's this guy got? Looking for anything in particular? Guess not. Interesting. How about our original cocktail? Cosmo Canyon? A drink now and then is good for you. It'll relax you a bit, if you know when to stop. Cosmo Canyon is definitely up there with some of the best video game tracks of all time. Is there something in here? There's something to pick up in here. Don't see anything to pick up. Oh, there was something in here. Why would they put a room without anything in it? I don't know. Don't know. Is that so? You brought Naniki back here? Yeah, thanks. Oh, anywhere else here? Oh, apparently I can go upstairs. Welcome to Shandra Inn. It'll be 100 yen a night. Would you like to stay? Yes. Have a great dream of sleep. Did you ever get around to the Sinnerman quest? Yes, I really intensely disliked it. I might do a video on just why I disliked it so much. It's definitely like my most hated thing I've done in the game so far. We got an elixir. What's this here? There's them on the wall. Turtle's Paradise. Our cocktails are good, but our wine is the best. Please stop into Turtle's Paradise. Can I climb this ladder? There we go. What's up here? Nothing. New job and creative stuff. We'll be streaming tomorrow night this week instead of Monday night. Awesome. I'm so full of stuff I have to do every day. Alright, here we go. Here's where I was, this is my hometown. My tribe were protectors of those who appreciate this beautiful canyon and the planet. My brave mother fought and died here, but my cowardly father left her. I am the last of my race. Cowardly father? Yes, my father was a wastrel. And so the mission I inherited from my ancestors is to protect this place. My journey ends here. Hey, Naniki, you're home. Coming, Grandpa. That's perfect. Why don't we take a break too? We can meet back here in a while, okay? Save this game. Let's get that. There we go. Oh, welcome. People in this canyon hate to compete, so almost everything here are replicas. But that's alright. Some of them you can really use. Butterfly edge. Should buy that. A tiger fang. Let's buy that. That's pretty good. Heavy Vulcan. I don't know if I want to buy a new thing for Barrett, because I'm not using it right now. I want that weapon damage one. Where did I put that? Oh, we'll have to get it later. So what else we got going on here? Gongaga sealed this door. How'd he do it? With super glue? Bugenhagen. Bugenhagen. That's a name. Hello, this is my grandfather, Bugin. He's incredible. He knows everything. Oh, I hear that you looked after Naniki a bit. Naniki is still a child, you see. Please stop, grandfather. I'm 48. Oh, Naniki's tribe has incredible longevity. So you see, his 48 years would only be equivalent to, say, that of a 15 or 16-year-old in human reckoning. 15 or 16. He's quiet and very deep. You thought he was an adult? Grandfather, I want to be an adult. I want to grow up to be able to protect you in the village. Oh, no, Naniki, you can't stand on your own yet. To do that now would destroy you in the long run. Reaching up to the heavens, threatening to snatch the very stars from the great city of Midgar. You've seen it, haven't you? Well, that's a bad example. Looking up too much makes you lose perspective. When it's time for this planet to die, you'll understand that you know absolutely nothing. When the planet dies, ho, it may be tomorrow or 100 years from now, but it's not long off. How do you know this? I hear the cries of the planet. What's that? The sounds of the stars in the heavens. While this goes on, planets are born and die. What was that? Oh, that was a scream from this planet. Didn't you hear it, as if to say, I hurt, I suffer? They have come here on a journey to save the planet. Why don't you show them your apparatus? Oh, to save the planet. Oh, follow the bouncing Tigger. But then again, I guess it wouldn't hurt to show him. Gongaga. Several odd-looking people have come. The whole place has gotten busy all of a sudden. He brought friends too. I'll go get them. Cloud, please call one of them. Only 3 people could fit in Grandfather's machine. On the top now. It's the stairs down. Is it the same ones? There we go. Go invite your friends. Who do I need in the party? I think I have to have Red 13. I have to make a party of 3. grab Eris. Yeah, we'll grab Eris and Tifa. Don't tell me you can't hear her crying. I know you can. Is it? You forgot your change. That's right. I totally do not have any like guild here. MP plus. That's a good one. I don't have the money. There's apparently a quest in the new WoW expansion where you reenact these fat gay dragons with each other's husbands. Great. We're at the dragon dildo phase of World of Warcraft. There's Catchy. Where does this one go? I think you're forced to use Red 13 in your party in one of these parts. This is like his story. Guessing it ends when everyone collapses. Don't need that. The green M phone. Silver. Try that. I think we have to use it on him, so. Forgot to save. Do not remove your memory card. I'll try not to. Try not to. I can actually put this in like a really convenient area here too. I put this like right by my camera. Here I am. So now I'm looking, it's closer to me looking in the camera. Alright. Actually, I think I just go back to the machine, huh? Let's go do that. Where does this go? Oh, this is somewhere else. Barry. What? Pull out those memory cards now! I've always wondered what happens like if you just yank one out while it's being written. I think it makes it like a corrupt sector. I don't think it ruins the memory card. We always thought it would like destroy your memory card. Like your memory card would be like obliterated. That'd be the end of it. I gotta see if like my memory cards even still work. Like, do they have a shelf life? Do they like stop working after a while? I do remember the first system I remember having. Oh, the door's unlocked. Come on in. The first system I remember having a memory card was actually the Neo Geo, and you could use it to continue your game, like on the coin-op machines at the arcade. They had like a memory card reader in the coin-ops. Ho, ho, ho! It looks like you have them all together. Then let's begin. I'll be stand here there. I'll be stand there. I'm going a bit senile saying I'll be stand there, but there we go. I'll stand here. Ooh, pretty. This really did look great, like on CRTs. It's hard to describe like how good this stuff really looked. It's so pretty. It's just like the real thing. Yes, pretty good. This is my laboratory. All the workings of space are entered into this 3D holographic system. Hey, a shooting star. Wow, how wonderful. Oh, yes, it is something, isn't it? Well, let's get to the subject. Eventually, all humans die. What happens to them after they die? The body decomposes and returns to the planet. That much everyone knows. What about their consciousness, their hearts, and their souls? The soul, too, returns to the planet. And not only those of humans, but everything on the planet. In fact, all living things in the universe are the same. The spirits that return to the planet merge with one another and roam the planet. They roam, converge, and divide, becoming a swell called the life stream. Life stream, in other words, a path of energy of the souls roaming the planet. Spirit energy is a word that you should never forget. A new life. Children are blessed with spirit energy and are brought into the world. Then the time comes when they die and once again return to the planet. Of course, there are exceptions, but this is the way of the world. I've digressed, but you'll understand better if you watch this. Kind of a weird cosmology they have going. Some kind of weird, kind of Platonic Buddhist thing. Spirit energy makes all things possible. Not just living things, but spirit energy makes it possible for planets to be planets. What happens if that spirit energy were to disappear? It's gonna look pretty dope in Rebirth. I mean, they made the first Final Fantasy VII remake really good looking. These are the basics of the study of planet life. If the spirit energy is lost, our planet is destroyed. Ho ho ho! Spirit energy is efficient because it exists within nature. When spirit energy is forcefully extracted and manufactured, it can't accomplish its true purpose. You're talking about Mako energy, right? Every day, Mako reactors suck up spirit energy, diminishing it. Spirit energy gets compressed in the reactors and processed into Mako energy. All living things are being used up and thrown away. In other words, Mako energy will only destroy the planet. Having children is no guarantee of having someone to care for you. I know an elderly woman whose children not only don't take care of her, but use her as a babysitter for their children. Okay? The story of the planets and those who lived with them. You want to know more? Then you must listen to the words of the elders. Nanaki, his father a coward. So that's it. Nanaki's been thinking that all this time. Alright, where do we go now? Remember. Saved our game again. What a boring place, just like I thought. I want to go somewhere. Let's go find some materia. Cosmo Canyon. This is where Avalanche was born. I promised my guys someday, when we saved the planet from the Shinra, that we'd all go to Cosmo Canyon and celebrate. Biggs, Wedge, Jesse. Now they're all gone. Died for the planet. Really? To save the planet? We all hate the Shinra. Do I even got to go on? Will they ever forgive me? Right now I really don't know, but I know one thing. If there's anything I can do to save the planet or the people living on it, then I'm gonna do it. I don't care if it's for justice or revenge or whatever. I don't care. Let them decide for themselves. Ugh, I'm gonna do it. Again, Avalanche is born again. Wonder how many years it's been. Gosh, it brings back memories. I learned a lot. The elders taught me many things about the Cetra and the Promised Land. I'm alone. I'm all alone now. But we're here for you, right? I know, but I'm the only Cetra. Does that mean we can't help? Cloud. Bonfires are funny, aren't they? They make you remember all sorts of things. You know, Cloud, 5 years ago? It's nothing. No, forget it. I'm afraid to ask. What is it? It feels like you're going far away. You really are you, right? Long ago, when I was still very small, we were all around this flame. No, never mind. What happened? It's about my parents. When I talk about my mother, I'm full of pride and joy, and that's fine, but when I remember my father, my heart is full of anger. You really can't forgive your father. Of course, he left Mother for dead. When the Gi tribe attacked, he ran off by himself, leaving Mother and the people of the canyon. Come, Naniki, there's something you should see. The place may be dangerous. Cloud, will you and one other person come with us? Took so long finding my way around the map. I leveled up because of constant battles. Beat the final boss first time back in the day. Yeah, I think it's actually really easy to get lost at this point in the game. Especially if you're like me and you're only playing once a week. Alright, let's get this guy. Let's get this guy equipped with something good here. Electoral armlet. Silver armlet. Power wrist. Alright. We need to... I think I forgot to take Materiata. What's her face? Alright, we'll give you Rama. Sense. Mystify. Transform. Should be fine. I don't think this is a hard battle. Yeah, by pre-rendering the environments, you really got to put in a lot of detail. They just are a static image that scrolls around. It really helps because rendering actual 3Ds is very cumbersome. And very resource intensive, and the hardware could barely do it back then. Barely do it. Any Italians must be sweating right now because of Tifa. I thought that was so funny. If you guys don't know what happened, somehow like a pornographic video of like Tifa and Cloud got broadcast in the Italian parliament in front of all of them. I don't know how that happened, but it was pretty funny. Oh ho ho! Are we all set? Oh ho ho! Shall we go? Some guy hacked into their Zoom. Is that it? Alright, come in, come in. Hey. Hey, aren't you going with us, Grandpa? What are you, crazy? It's dangerous in there, I told you that. What, an old mad like me should go first? I'll be right behind you. All these ropes. It's getting greener and spookier. Some guy hacked their Zoom. I wonder how I get that up there. I wonder if there's any way to get that. Look at this giant skeleton. This thing's like huge. This is a strange looking rock. Oh yeah, it throws you into a battle here. I wonder if I can mini this guy. Let's find out. skewer. There we go. You have a good way to get a good logo for books on a small budget. Design it yourself? Yeah. Designing it yourself can definitely save a lot of money. You can try Fiverr. You find someone who can design it. Design the logo for you. Poison. Level up! These guys drop a lot of experience, I think. Break it open. Arriving late to the party. What's up? Surely you're having a good time as usual. Is there any specific topic being discussed today? What gets rid of? I mean, like, what happens to your junk? You know, when you get old. Like, what'll happen to old millennials with their Funko Pops? What are you gonna do with all the Funko Pops? I think I can learn Death Sentence here. Watching Stu pull himself out of poverty one monster at a time. Luckily, like, getting Gil gets so much easier as you get further in the game. Get that materia that's up there. I guess there's like another way up. I think that opens the door. What does this do? Have you ever used Fiverr? Nope. But I know lots of other people who have, so. The Fighter with Mark Wahlberg and Christian Bale. It's out a few years, but I think it's a wholesome message and gritty and humorous story. You gotta get him to cast Death Sentence on Cloud. I think he can learn it. There we go. Learn enemy skill Death Sentence. Yes. That's what we want. Is it like knight in armor with like a spear going through him? That's cool. A little different. Ba-dum-bum-bum. Ho ho ho! Everyone here is a ghost of the Gi tribe, killed in a certain battle. A certain battle? The vengeful spirits of the Gi didn't disappear and couldn't return to the life stream. We still have far to go! There's a chest over there. I want it. Oh no! A trap. Do not be too eager to deal out death and judgment. Oh man, I lost a lot of health. Have you seen Elon Musk's satanic Halloween costume? The designer makes leather armor for Abath and several other prominent artists. That's what I thought. I thought it was like a black metal outfit. You met him a couple times since he tours Ren fairs? Well, he might be here in Houston. There's a big Ren fair, I think for weeks. I don't know if I'm going to go to it. But it exists. Yeah, I just thought it was like a black metal outfit. That's all I thought. Added effect materia. What does this do? Added effect. Lightning? Materia status. I mean, I wonder if I could use that for something else like Death Blow. Don't know. So we'll try lightning for sure. His name is Dale Caldwell. People are like, Musk's not our guy. He wore black metal armor. Okay, I get it. How do I get off of here? Maybe I have to jump down. What do you think of Elon Musk bringing on the ADL and other such organizations as part of content moderation? That's exactly what was going on beforehand, so it's no different than what was going on. It's bad, right? You shouldn't do it, but like, it's pretty standard. Like the ADL is like an anti-Christian organization, just so people know. You can look in the history of the ADL for yourself. I wouldn't trust the ADL to do anything at all. I wouldn't trust my kids with anyone from the ADL. Someone says he has to do it to neutralize ADL as a threat. I don't know if you contain them. I don't know what the strategy is there. Now, can I jump down from here? Where do I get down? Get down from here. So like, how do I get off of this ledge? Okay, triple attack. It's many one of these guys. For one. Sections in games like this always made me appreciate the repel items in Pokemon. Yeah. Oh no, he died! All my guys are gonna die right now. Because of how long the animation takes, Cloud's gonna die too. Oh my gosh, that was close. Oh, that was really close. Gotta bring him back. Now, if I walk through the grease, see, I have to slow walk through it. You gotta do like the monkey slow walk there. If you fast walk through it, then you slip and slide. Have you seen Jeffro Johnson lashing out on Twitter against indie authors? Yes. You don't get what he's talking about. Is what I'm gonna say. Like, I think it's mostly over your head. Like, don't read anything after 1980. It started as a joke. Because it was don't read anything by old white men, right? So the response is don't read anything after 1980. Because the entire fantasy industry has been, was co-opted in the not really not in the 1980s, but especially 1990s. By people who really hated the genre and didn't even know what a genre was. So yeah. But people take it seriously because they don't really know what he's talking about. It's kind of an inside joke. But then the reactions of like, hey, you know, I don't give a crap about Lord Dunsany or whatever. It's like, really, you should. I mean, this is like the origins of your genre. You know? It'd be like someone saying, I refuse to read Tolkien. It's like, well, I mean, you should probably read him. You should probably read Dunsany. You should probably read Robert E. Howard. You should probably read Edgar Rice Burroughs, too. Like, these are, you know, these are the titans of the... These are like the origins for a reason. They're part of the canon for a reason. What happens to millennials things when they get old? If they go into a pile of everything that was collected and not used, like photos. We've got people who collect things and not experience them. I think they go into the garbage is what happens. Because Funko Pops take up space, whereas photos take up a box. Funko Pops take up a room. If we can run from this battle. We gotta kill these guys as quickly as possible because of the Dune. Alright, just barely. You don't have to res him. I have not read anything by Dre Prescott, but I have read Edgar Rice Burroughs. One of the points I make frequently is that a large amount of, quote, literature is actually astroturfed. You know, it's not really popular. It gets forced into the public consciousness by gatekeepers that do that, like college professors that force you to read books they think are important while not necessarily being popular. As you can see, this cave leads to the back of Cosmo Canyon. It was unfortunate that the Gi were larger than us. If they attacked us through here, we wouldn't have stood a chance. Let's move on. I'm gonna make a little save state here. But yeah, you're not going to find a college course that has Edgar Rice Burroughs, despite him being one of the most important writers to ever live. In terms of his influence, in terms of his sales, his popularity, the endurance of his characters and his creations. You know, he's much more important than Ernest Hemingway, but you're never going to see anyone have to read Edgar Rice Burroughs books. And that's because academics in the mid 20th centuries when it really took off, they had a decision that, like, there was this pulp. The word pulp is an insulting word. There's pulp, and pulp was literal garbage, the garbage that people buy and read. That's popular fiction. But we write literature, which is special fiction, which has special messages that special people understand. I wonder how I get that chest. There's gotta be a way. Halt with. Academics hate the idea of high and low art is an artificial distinction. You'll notice that most literature teachers have no problem making people read popular fiction from the 19th century, like Charles Dickens. Charles Dickens or Alexander Dumas or like, Sir Walter Scott. These are great books, but they were very popular at the time. Or Jane Austen, right? This is popular fiction. But somehow in the 20th century, once people are reading fantasy and science fiction, that's disgusting genre fiction and no one should read it. Instead, you should read this special political literature that we've decided is the Western canon, right? It's a completely artificial distinction. There's no such thing as low art. This is a 20th century invention that there's high art and low art. There's art, right? Now, I think some art is better than others. Some art's more complex than others. But the idea that there's a high art and a low art is just artificial. It's completely artificial. Especially with something like a book, right? Like I like Ernest Hemingway's books. Don't get me wrong. Except Old Man and the Sea, which I really don't like. But for the most part, I like his books. I think he's a good writer. Is Edgar Rice Burroughs' writing somehow less special than Ernest Hemingway's? I don't think so at all. Like, I don't think his prose is somehow worse, or Ernest Hemingway. Ernest Hemingway was known for his really simple prose. So, like, what is high art about Ernest Hemingway? Nothing. Nothing at all. It's completely artificial. You're letting other people dictate the terms to you with this high art, low art bullshit. This is not true, okay? Stop buying into it. Stop calling yourself something special. You're letting other people determine what the canon should be. This is not the way that you should approach things. Edgar Rice Burroughs ought to be in the canon, and so should Lord Dunsany. And we should read them, because they're important. Funny how I consider people calling themselves illustrators a lot more skilled than people calling themselves artists. Yes. Because art is... If you look at high art, what people call high art in like the visual sense is often people like smearing poop on a canvas and literally smearing shit on something and then calling it art. What exactly is high art about that? Nothing. Can I turn something into a toad? Let's try it out. Well, the term pulp is an academic term. It's what the academics called it because their stuff wasn't pulp. Right? No, it's a cheap book. It's a book that's printed cheaply. It really, the pulp books were not printed that much cheaper than other books. They're cheaper than hardbacks. But it's this idea that like my art is special because I'm calling it literature. You know, it's an artificial distinction. Like why is something worse if it's printed on cheaper paper? It's not. It's just part of the business strategy of selling something to people who like to read books. Selling something to lots of people. We want to move a lot of product to a lot of people. That's how we're going to make money. So when people talk about the pulps, they could be talking about magazines, which are intended to be thrown away, or cheap books, both of those. But, you know, what's the attitude behind them? The attitude behind them is selling fiction people want to read. So I don't know how many people have either tried to read Ulysses or actually completed it. You know, there's several of these academic books around that, like James Joyce's Ulysses, which are awful to read. They're really annoying to read, and they don't really do anything super special. They're not like a great story or anything. Why do people read them?
people read them because academics thought they should read them. They require them for classes and stuff. Another one is, if you want a newer one, it's Infinite Jest. I'm trying to remember the name of the writer. His name slips my mind right now. He wrote 2 books before he died, a whopping 2 books. And he's considered a super important postmodern author. He died by suicide, by the way. Not that that has any relevance to what I'm talking about. But Infinite Jest is like a 1,200-page long book with no plot that goes nowhere. It's the epitome of postmodern in the bad sense. Like, there's definitely humorous parts in it. There are definitely jokes, and it's very witty. But you get to the end, and you realize that there was no story. It just wandered around for 1,200 pages and just ended. And the jest is the big joke that you bothered to read a 1,200-page book. That he got you to read 1,200 pages of garbage that did nothing and went nowhere. That's the jest. I've read articles by actual 1930s pulp writers, and they use the term pulp and slicks for the for the magazines. Yeah, but this is still like after the fact. Pulp was a slur. Like, pulp was a slur among, literature writers. Like I said, this is a mid-century thing. It's annoying when booktubers claim they love Robert E. Howard or Edgar Rice Burroughs, but don't put them up with Hemingway or Fitzgerald. I don't know. There's something about academic writers too, where they just don't write a lot of books, and so that's somehow better. They came up. There's this idea that if you write a lot of books, that the books must be garbage because you're actually doing the work, which is nonsense. Yeah, Hardwick, you're not. I don't think you're listening to what I'm saying. These little spiders. The only thing I remember the title Infinite Jest is the nature of the author's death. I remember college teachers recommending it, not having us read it, and me doubting their taste. Yeah, it's not a. I'm hesitant to even say it's a bad book. It's kind of the epitome of that late 20th century mentality, which is like being creative on the micro without having any sense of a story. These are things I don't know if they'll persist. I don't know if people will be talking about Infinite Jest in 80 years except as a footnote. Here's a really long book that people wrote and everyone wanted to read it, but it doesn't have a story, blah, 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 like that, We don't know, time is the real filter, and we don't know what's going to stick around. One thing we do know about Edgar Rice Burroughs is that he really sticks around. I forgot to read this. Ooh, we're almost there. I always get confused because the menu here is X is confirm, circles cancel, but the menu in Final Fantasy VII is the Japanese way: circle confirm, X cancel. It's so annoying when booktubers mention racism every time Howard mentions a character of another race. How was the Mexican in the Horror from the Mound a racist depiction? He was right about vampires. It's the same thing with say H.P. Lovecraft, I've talked about this, like he depicts these Catholic bumpkins, but the Catholics always survive because they believe the evil is real, which is interesting. What is this? Grandpa, is he? After death, the ghosts of the Ghee, like stagnant air. This can't be. Alright, here we go. Yeah, I think Ulysses is like the most quit book in history, maybe. Not sure what we do. Fire 2. Fire 2, yeah, it doesn't do any... Fire 2 can't hurt Cloud right now, so... Well, we'll try to hit it and see what that does. Yeah, I mean, so Ulysses is one of those books that it's interesting. I feel like it's interesting but not good. And I think Infinite Jest is the same thing. I think that's maybe that's like the academic literature summation of like the 20th century. Is like things are interesting but not necessarily good. May the books in your library be as your friends, few and of good quality. I kind of like that. I have too many books though. I'm trying to cut down, and like my philosophy for cutting down is like if I've read the book once and it's been a long time since I read it, I'll get rid of it. And if I've read it twice, I keep it because that means I might read it a third time. Summon something here. See if we can hit him with a death blow. That's why I stopped watching any booktubers talk about H.P. Lovecraft. I talk about Lovecraft. They need to grow up and understand it's a product of the times. It's not just a product of the times. It's like They read more into it than anything that Lovecraft really thought about. You can barely see what's going on in this like fight setup. I'm not sure what he's casting and what. Because like the camera can't see through him. Like what's going on here? Like the camera doesn't know what to do with this guy. So as long as that thing's up, he's going to cast Fire 2 on it. It's not about growing up, IMO. It's bio-Bolshevism. The goal is to destroy what you like, to destroy your myths. I actually agree with that. mean, people make those claims against Heart of Darkness when really, like, the effect to a large degree is about, like, the savagery of white people, not about the Africans. I wonder if I should just, like, focus on the boss. Let's try focusing on the boss. Because he just keeps healing. Like, it seems like he wants to just keep healing this like, fire thing. Ass pill, huh? That sounds good. The first article criticizing Lovecraft as racist was published in 1918. I am not aware of that. But I don't... was he publishing in 1918? I guess he published in 1960, and I had to look it up. Most of the stuff I read is from the 20s. So it makes me think, like, maybe he wasn't that active. Barrier. You remove the barrier. I guess if we use curative items on it. Alright, I looked it up real quick. I think we could cure it and that kills it. Alright, let's try this. His fire skill power is used up. Well, let's kill this fire then. Take over. What happens if we use Cure 2 on the boss? Since he's undead, oh yeah, it does a ton of damage. Ass pill. I guess it steals MP. There we go. Let's try a Phoenix down on him. Alright, that killed him though. Any plans for NaNoWriMo? I'm releasing a book in 10 days. Or, no, in 6 days. Let me link it. So I'm releasing another book. And I released the book on the 10th of October. So buy those. And yeah, I will be writing. I'm always writing. A wiser staff. Thank you, Cloud. Because of you, we survived. Naniki, you have grown strong too. Oh, yeah? Now, I know that wasn't a mistake. No, it wasn't a mistake bringing you here. Come, I have something I want to show you. Right over here. Gravity materia. This is the warrior who fought against the Gi. He kept them from taking even one step into Cosmo Canyon. Noteworthy delay. I don't know what I'm delaying on. That he was never able to return to town. Look, Naniki, look at your father, the warrior Seto. That's Seto. Seto continued to fight the Gi tribe here to protect this canyon. Even after the Gi's poisonous arrows turned his body to stone. Even after they all ran away, Seto continued to protect us. And he continues to protect us even now. Even now. You thought that he was a coward and ran away, but he, alone, risked his life to protect Cosmo Canyon. That is your father, Seto. That is Seto? Did Mother know? Oh, she knew. The two of them made me promise to keep this cave shut. They asked me to seal it myself and not to tell a soul. They said we should forget about this cave. Cloud, would you mind leaving the two of us alone? That's no Seto. No Seto Kaiba. That's a Seto. Oops. Grandpa? Listen, Naniki. Cloud says they are trying to save the planet. Honestly, I don't think it could be done. For even if they stop every reactor on the planet, it's only going to postpone the inevitable. Even if they stop Sephiroth, everything will perish. But, Naniki, I've been thinking lately. I've been thinking if there was anything we could do as a part of the planet, something to help the planet already in misery. No matter what happens, isn't it important to try? Am I just wishing against fate? I am too old to do anything about it. This year I'll be 130. That is why, Naniki, you must go with them for my sake. Grandpa. I wanted to show you your real father before you left. I'm so glad that you came back while I was still alive to show you. Grandpa, don't talk like that. I don't want to think of life without you. Oh, well, I've had a long life. Grandpa, you must live. I'll see to it. I'll see to what's happening to the planet. I'll come back to tell you. Naniki. I'm Naniki of Cosmo Canyon, the son of the warrior Seto. I'll come back a warrior true to that noble name, so please, Grandpa. That's Seto's. Seto for father. Shall we get going? So this is it, Red 13. That's just the way it goes. You came in handy at times. Wait for me, I'm coming too. I should stay at the inn real quick. Cloud, please look after Naniki. What happened? I think I grew up a little, that's what happened. Right. I think the inn is up here. No, I don't need to stay at the end. Yeah, we'll walk outside of town. Refill my health. Alright. I've streamed 30 minutes longer than definitely way more than 30 minutes longer than I meant to. So, I'm going to call it here. Got the new books coming, so the new one, you've probably already heard a lot of it because a lot of the content's on the channel. It's called Afterglow, Generation Y. That will be out this week. Wow, crazy. And then last week's book was Al Shafalda, which was the fantasy book. So please check out that. It is a tragedy in 5 acts. Shakespearean style, but fantasy, and has a lot of my weird little, a lot of my weird little stuff in it. So check that out, and I will see you all next time. I do appreciate everybody coming and hanging out. What do you think about Elon Musk considering making Twitter a video hosting platform? That's good. Yes, it would actually be good. If you could get the algorithm worked out, that would be good. Like more competition in the video space would be good. I have no problem, uploading to different sites to an extent, to an extent. So I think it would be good. I like to I like to hang out on Twitter a lot because there's a lot of cool people and the conversations go crazy. So anyway, have a good one, and I will see you all next time. Don't forget to check out the books. So if you like a bunch of short stories about, Gen Y, that's what Afterglow is. If you want a lot of weird short stories. If you want a companion to that, you can check out the Generation Y, the new Lost Generation, edited by J.D. Cowan, and I'll go ahead and link that right here. And then, of course, Eyes in the Walls, which I almost considered putting the entirety of Eyes in the Walls inside this new book, but it would have just been like a third of the book, so that's a little too much. You can read that separately. It is definitely kind of goes with the whole theme of what I was doing there, though. It takes place in 1991. So take a look at that, and I'll see you guys next time. Have a great one.